Vols are back.
Yeah. Money make the world go round. I'm trying to get it all right now. Everybody worry about the crown. Big, look, homie, I'm the man right now. Talking to a peon, kind of time we on. Don't roll like the kind of take eons. Got a little buzz, it's time to go beyond. Can't look back, no time to hit rewind. Yeah, she wants to do S class. I'm like, boo, you must ask. They pour way too much in your glass. Just move your hips like a whole up class. Hit the gab, I talk that gap. Strut like up, and I walk that shit. When I'm up, that's it. I'ma start living reckless. Get that bag, I'ma walk like this. Yeah, I'ma walk like this. Hit that lane, I'ma walk like this. Walk in the spot, but they all get lit. Tell them on flow, let me talk my shit. Every song bang when they drop in hit. Say it on the man, post stop, no miss. Over your head, next time don't slip. Play your part, better read that script. Yeah, I'ma walk like this.
No shortage of things to go over this week, I'll tell you that much. Beep, beep, beep. I'm going to turn that off. Oi, fellow comrades, it is Squidtard here along my boys, Mr. Lucas Sharp and Julio Rodriguez. And welcome to episode 69, nice, of the Vol Star Podcast. Can't believe we're already here. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's only fitting that the episode where Tennessee is officially in the college football playoffs is episode 69. How fitting is that, fellas?
Yeah.
Literally could not have been any better set. See, I'm a man of the future. I know. I'm literally, that's literally what I am. I'm a man of the future. I predicted this entire thing from the start to finish. Something else that's, of course, happened in a different sport, even though they're playing right now, that's kind of a misfire on my part to say. But right now, Tennessee is number one in the nation in basketball, but they are playing right now. So, but thankfully, They are up by 13. So it's safe to say that they're going to remain number one for the foreseeable future. All right, well, before we get into the topics for today, how are my co-hosts doing tonight?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
Cool. Great to hear. First off, unrelated, but this cookie cake is gas. They're good. Highly recommend it.
Oh, where'd you get it from?
It was my sister's birthday, so we went to Great American Cookies. We got it over the weekend.
Cool.
Oh, wait, your sister's birthday's today?
Yesterday.
Oh, yesterday? Mine's tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Well, happy early birthday, Julio. How old you turned?
26. I'm the oldest one here.
Oh, wow. Well, that's surprising, you know. There's definitely a big age gap because you're 26, I'm 22, and he's 13. So
I'm 12, actually, sir. I'm 12.
Dang it. Yeah, my misfire on my part. How's our comment section doing tonight? We got Jeremy Johnson, Space New ACC or Space New Account. What's going on, buddy? What's up, Matt Dummit? Don't call me Dummit, damn it. What's going on, Harry Leg? Happy Tuesday, Squidtard, Lucas, Julio, and Matt. What's up? Moronic, how you doing, buddy? Fat Dog Rudy, Squid, do we get college football chaos tomorrow? Yes, you do. In fact, if you are an official channel member, college football chaos is out right now. So if you are an official member of Squidtard Sports, then you should be able to watch college football chaos right now, as it is already dropped for channel members. So if you are a Tardarian captain, not a soldier, but a Tardarian captain, it means that you will be able to view college football chaos at any time before, well, pretty much any time you want. Of course, for the rest of you who aren't channel members, it will be available at noon tomorrow. But if you are interested in becoming a member of Squidtard Sports, it'll be where the super chat button is. You can just hit join. Join the join. Do that. I would highly recommend joining the join. Got a lot of great people on there. In fact, all of their names are actually down here. So shout out to all of our channel members. There are too many to count at this point, mainly because of Lucas, because he gave away 10 memberships. But Hey, that's all right. That's all right. Will not hear me complain about it. So shout out to you if you're in the Tardarian Army. Well, you're in the Tardarian Army regardless, because here you are right here watching this show. And you're part of the Squidtard Sports crew. So yes, you are part of the Tardarian Army regardless. But whatever you want to do is completely up to you. Now then, so we got a lot to talk about, fellas. A lot to talk about. Where do we even begin? Obviously, I guess it's only right to begin talking about the conference championship games. We got some pretty insane matchups towards the end of the day, and it was funny too because as soon as I started live streaming, it was just completely boring throughout Friday and the start of Saturday, and then as soon as the Georgia-Texas game kicked off, everything afterwards, with the exception of the Sun Belt, has been some really, really good football. Penn State really, really, they were that close. They were that close to beating the undefeated Oregon Ducks, but just came up short as always against top 5 teams. Still was a great performance by them. And then, of course, we had the SMU Clemson game, which pretty much turned all of our playoff predictions on their heads. So where do you guys want to start?
I guess. I guess we can start off with the Big 12 championship game.
I guess that since that was the first one, yeah, I guess we'll get the sleeper out of the way, huh? Obviously, shout out to my boy Cam Skibbity, Arizona State, the bottom of the conference. Literally, Arizona State was projected to be the worst team in the Big 12, and somehow they were the team that managed to win the whole thing at 11-2. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, along with Genty Ball, they're getting a first round bye in the playoffs. So.
Yep. Kind of crazy.
Yeah. So
I thought they would be better this year. Oh, sorry to interrupt. But I was gonna say I was a little bit higher on them than most people, but I didn't expect a playoff. I was expecting maybe like 8 wins.
Yeah, if it weren't for guys like Kirk Cignetti, that guy Kenny Dillingham, he's probably coach of the year if not for Kirk Cignetti. That's all I'll say about him. But it was another dominant performance by the Sun Devils. Took Iowa State to the woodshed. They did practically whatever they wanted to them. It was no competition from start to finish. They've earned their spot, I'll say that much. It can be debatable whether or not they earned a first-round bye, but nonetheless, they've earned their spot in the playoffs at the bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I was going to say, with them, Coach of the Year, I would probably just split it between Dillingham and Kirk Cignetti or Cignetti, however you say it.
It really
That'd be how I do it. That would just be my opinion. Because I feel like they're both having such a great season for teams that, that were predicted not to do anything.
They're having such good seasons that Lucas had to drop that midway through you speaking.
Yeah.
He's like you know what you are? You're like the grand overlord of random noises during the stream. You got beep, 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 ver, ver, I mean, the whole collection.
Okay.
Yeah. Bama clown of the week or clown of the season. Yeah, Bama is definitely Bama and their fans, and not just them, but pretty much everybody whining about them not being in have definitely earned clown of the week this week because they have been, oh my gosh, they've been absolutely obnoxious with the Bama should be in because we had a better strength of schedule than SMU. You know what? SMU didn't have 2 losses to two teams without winning records. So you can pretty much cry to the cows come home. It doesn't matter. SMU deserved that spot over you, and you know it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically, Squid, they could have winning records if they win their ball game.
There's the exit.
It's a joke.
I mean, Hoyo's not wrong, but still, they're not good losses. They're not.
I was just joking because I know how Alabama fans would be.
Yeah, right. Well, if this were the Big Ten show, then that's what we'd be doing right now. Well, speaking hypothetically, if Oklahoma and Vanderbilt were to both win their bowl games, it would mean that Alabama would actually have 0 losses against teams without winning records. We're not Fox over here. We're the Vol Star Podcast. We're trying to keep people entertained, not make them walk away.
Yeah, don't turn Squidtard into Ben Shapiro.
That's the comparison I'm getting now.
Yeah, you kind of sounded like him for a second.
Wow.
When he was speaking about hypotheticals.
Yeah. That's funny. Thoughts on the Conference USA Championship and the Jacksonville State snub? Snub from what? What did they
What do
get
you mean?
snubbed from?
Like they absolutely creamed Western Kentucky. What did they get snubbed from?
Yeah, let's just throw out Boise State.
if we're gonna,
Let's throw in
if we're
four-loss Jacksonville State in the playoffs.
hey, I mean, if we're gonna almost put a 3-loss Alabama, why not put one of the better teams in Alabama that actually won a conference championship?
Yeah, speaking of, you know what was so funny is on Friday night when Western Kentucky was playing Jacksonville State, you know, Alabama beat Western Kentucky. They were talking about if Western Kentucky wins their bowl, if Western Kentucky wins that game, that means we'll have 2 wins over potential conference champions. And like you're that Alabama fans are so down horrendous. They're trying to tell everybody that Western Kentucky is a quality win for their playoff resume. How far have you fallen?
I don't know. I wonder if they're trying to say that Missouri's a quality win as well because they have 2 losses.
I'm sure they are.
Like Missouri's. Speaking of Missouri, did you see that one tweet from Missouri Athletics? How they was bragging about all their athletics programs, about making the Music City Bowl in football, currently knocking off the #1 team in basketball, winning like 4 games in a row in women's.
That entire program is just Eli Drakewitz. That's the best thing. That's the best thing I can really say. I don't really feel there's anything else to really say about that.
Yeah, that was that has to be like one of the more embarrassing tweets I've ever seen from any athletics program.
Yeah, right. Okay, moving on here. Let's go over to the SEC championship, and we got a lot to talk about here. So obviously, Georgia won. Shocking revelation, I know. They kind of did the exact same thing they did against Georgia Tech, where it looked like they were for sure going to lose, but then they come out of nowhere, put up the RKO, and saying, you know what? No, we're not done here. We're gonna win this game, and that's exactly what they did. So they clinched themselves a first-round bye, but not without a significant loss. That, of course, being Carson Beck, who went down at half with a UCL injury. And while that isn't entirely a season-ending injury, it certainly doesn't guarantee that he will come back for the rest of the year. But Gunnar Stockton looked really good in that game, all things considered. Now he didn't look beastly. He didn't put up elite stats or anything. He only had 71 yards and 8 yards rushing, so it wasn't like he did anything significant. But he did what he needed to, and he was so great at what he did that Julio left. Julio just straight up dipped. Yeah. Apparently it was so good that Julio dipped. Hopefully he gets back here soon. Otherwise, the graphic's going to look really weird. Western Kentucky lost to Boston College. Does that mean Boston College is as good as Bama now? Well, Boston College did go down to they did go down to the wire with Missouri, which is another, of course, big-time quality Alabama win. And then...
sorry to interrupt. I had a phone call.
Okay, you're good.
Sorry about that. If y'all were trying to talk to me,
whenever you leave and join back, you don't. I mean, things happen. You don't need to come back and explain every single time you leave. But I do understand. Thank you for telling us. And then Freaky for Pepsi says, and Bama trudged the mud against South Florida at home. Yeah, don't forget that. Didn't Miami blow out South Florida? Now you're both sitting on the couch. But yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but what about those quality losses?
Yeah, some quality losses though. That's what really matters for Alabama. But yeah, anyway, the SEC championship was a pretty fun game. Of course, I live streamed the entire thing. It was sort of back and forth, by far the most competitive game of the day up until Penn State and Oregon, and then of course the games after that. But this was still a pretty fun game to watch. If you're a fan of defense, you got exactly what you were looking for, because that's all this game was, just defense after defense after defense, and that was pretty much the premise of the entire thing. Friggin' Georgia out here having 4 fumbles that certainly didn't help their chances, but they still somehow managed to come out on top and win. And that was a lot in part to how good their defense played. 6 sacks and 15 TFLs. Downright groundbreaking performance for Georgia right there on the defensive side of the ball. And Texas, of course, they had 3 sacks, 10 TFLs. Obviously, I think both of these defenses are going to be dominant forces when it's time for the playoffs all said and done.
Yep.
You guys got any words on that?
I totally agree. It was a really good game by both teams. Of course, it came down to the wire and everything. Carson Beck getting hurt, that's definitely going to hurt for Georgia if he's unable to come back for that potential game against Indiana or Notre Dame. But I would imagine Georgia should be fine either way. They should be able to beat either of those teams, especially Indiana, if Indiana's somehow able to beat Notre Dame.
Right. Julio, anything from you about that?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think Georgia will be fine against those two teams, like y'all just said. I mean, Gunnar Stockton was a 4-star coming out of high school, so I think he's definitely got the talent. I mean, but we haven't really seen much out of him besides the SEC championship.
Mm-hmm.
But I think their talent can probably carry them over Indiana. And then Notre Dame, I think, might be a little bit hard. But, Notre Dame has not won a New Year's Six bowl game since, 1988. So,
mm-hmm. Yeah, when looking at the playoffs, I think Georgia definitely got a very easy route compared to some other teams. Because, the entire left side of the bracket is a complete gauntlet. Especially for Tennessee. We got to play Ohio State in Columbus. Then we got to face top Oregon in the Rose Bowl. And then we'll probably have to face either Texas or Cam Skibbity in the whatever bowl we make it there. And then at the end of all of it, in the national championship game, we play either Georgia or whoever else wounds up in that national championship game. So it definitely a very, very tough road for some certain opponents, for sure. Speaking of which, let's talk about the Ducks, why don't we? So obviously, they came out on top against Penn State. They're the only unbeaten team in all of college football, and all of the FBS. Dylan Gabriel, again, another dominant performance by him. 283 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. They ran the ball well. They pretty much did everything they wanted to on offense. It was just a matter of the fact that Penn State also had a really good game offensively. Drew Allar, 3 touchdowns, 226 yards. But he did struggle at many points in the game. He had 2 interceptions and only completed half of his passes. But, they were able to run the ball really well. They had 2 running backs with over 100 yards rushing, Keatron Allen and Nicholas Singleton. Both of them had a really, really good game overall. Just a really, really good performance overall by both offenses. Definitely a complete mirror image of what the SEC championship was. But Oregon holds on in the end, clinches the 1 seed, and will be awaiting either Ohio State and Tennessee in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, I know, of course, winning and getting that first round bye for Oregon is massive, but I fit Oregon as the 1 seed. They possibly got the worst draw out of anybody, which is absolutely insane. Because either way, you're going to have to either play Ohio State, who you've already beaten this season, but the saying, it's hard to beat a good team twice. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Tennessee, a team who, of course, does really good running the ball, which I've heard Oregon has actually struggled to stop the run this year. So either way, it's going to be a tough matchup for Oregon, whoever they play.
Right. No, it's not going to be an easy road, but Georgia did prove that it's not impossible to beat the same team in a row. It's not impossible. It's not very easy to pull off.
Yeah, it's not impossible, but it's hard.
Hell, Dan Lanning had it happen to him. He lost to Washington twice in a row last year.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's either way, it's going to be a tough matchup for Oregon on who wins in that game between Ohio State and Tennessee. I think both of them could honestly give Oregon a game, and I wouldn't be shocked if either one of them beat Oregon. Call me crazy.
It's possible. It's certainly possible. All right. Well, moving on to the next game. I feel like it's very obvious where we're going here, but Clemson and SMU. That one was a really, really good game, and it had an absolutely phenomenal finish.
Yep. Clemson, thank you so much for beating SMU by like 3 points, keeping Alabama out of the playoffs. Thank you so much, Clemson.
Well, I feel like what Dabo Swinney said at the end of the game really sticks with us, too. Thank you, Fran Brown. Fran Brown coming in clutch.
Yeah, Fran Brown, a playoff coach, sir.
No, but he certainly kept another coach out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Mario Cristobal's.
Yeah, I wonder if Miami would actually like Fran Brown as their head coach now. I mean, Mario Cristobal, he's a good recruiter, but he is not a good in-game coach. He's not.
No. Also, they spent all that money to go to the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Yeah, they're the Pop-Tart Bowl champions, baby.
Hey, they'll get to eat a live mascot though. So who's really winning here?
Oh yeah, definitely Miami. Miami's winning for sure. So goofy. I mean, with all the shit Miami fans are talking in the off season, and especially leading up to playoff time, I feel like this is a deserving outcome. That Maki McClown, where's he at? Where'd he go? That Miami fan, he was talking all sorts of smack in my comment sections and pretty much everybody's comment sections over the course of this season. You couldn't find him with a compass now. He disappeared off the face of the earth.
Carton. Yeah, milk carton.
Yep, pretty much. So, yeah, nothing new there. But, yeah, Clemson clutches up. Of course, that kicker will never have to buy a drink in his life ever again if he's buying drinks in town. He's absolutely never going to have to buy a drink ever again, for sure.
I tell you what, he don't have to buy a drink here in Knoxville.
Or anywhere for that matter, keeping Alabama out of the playoffs.
Yep.
And it certainly is just so pathetic watching all these Alabama fans, not even just them, but like Greg Sankey and Greg Byrne, of course, the Alabama athletic director. Oh, straight the schedule doesn't matter anymore. Yes, it does. That's why they had you ranked so high in the first place, even though you had more losses than teams like Army and Arizona State and Clemson. I mean, Arizona State only had 2 losses. Why aren't they ranked ahead of you?
I remember Alabama when they didn't make the playoffs. Alabama fans all over Twitter was saying, "What was the point of scheduling all these tough non-con games? From now on, we just need to schedule a bunch of SWAC teams."
Yep.
Your non-conference ain't even hard. Like, your best non-con win, who I guess Wisconsin went 5-7, and of course Juilo, his ice cream machine.
I'm sorry.
Okay, thanks for that. What are you, the ice cream man?
Yeah, I guess so.
But of course, Juilo ruined my rant.
That's the cupcake alarm. The cupcake alarm.
Yeah. You got any more Mercers there? But yeah.
You certainly don't have any Vanderbilts or Oklahomas.
Yeah, I guess not. But yeah. What Alabama's best non-con win is against the Wisconsin team who went 5-7. Like, Wisconsin, it's like their first losing season in a million years. Like, that's not a good win.
Yeah, also, technically, if you count Mercer's record in the FCS, that's their best win. Mercer's like a 10-win team, sir. Have you know?
They play in the FCS.
It's a joke. Oh, man, it's a joke.
Here's what I don't get. They act like, if we remove all these tough non-con games and our schedule will be better. What sense does that make? That would literally have the complete opposite effect. And why would that matter when all of your losses came against conference opponents? What are you going to try and do? What do you got to try to do? Like schedule your conference opponents? You don't do that. You can't do that. We go.
Yeah, they're gonna try to schedule
our conference opponents. No, we want to be like Texas.
So what? Are they gonna schedule? Are they gonna schedule Mississippi State the whole season?
Yeah.
Like someone said, is they act like they scheduled 95 Nebraska, 2001 Miami, and 2005 USC on their non-con schedule. Like, calm down.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's so pathetic watching these people cry. And it's just especially concerning that this is coming from people like up there, like athletic directors and crap like that. People who, you know, at any given time could decide that there's going to be less tougher schedules and we're going to cancel all of our non-con games because, they dare leave the Alabama Crimson Tide out. We gotta blow on Nick Saban. Like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Get it through your head. You're not in the playoffs because you're not good enough to be there.
You know, they usually could have been in the playoffs. They just didn't have to not lose in Nashville and not lose in Norman. Hey, but I do know a team that did win in Nashville and Norman.
Yeah, I wonder who that'd be. And also beat Alabama. Don't forget that.
Yep, we also beat them.
Yeah, I wonder who that team is. I wonder.
Certainly do wonder. If anything, they ought to be happy that they're ranked ahead of South Carolina, because if it weren't for that head-to-head win that you had over them, you'd be ranked way below them, and rightfully so. South Carolina's better than you.
And also, I think if they lined up right now, South Carolina would blow them out of the water.
Yeah, if South Carolina and Alabama played right now, South Carolina would beat them.
Mm-hmm. That's a story you don't want. That's a story they don't want to hear. All they hear in their minds is the schedule is hard and the playoff committee is mean because they don't like us and they're mean and they're stupid and they're dumb and they That's all I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So boo-hoo, cry about it. That's all I really need to say. All right, well then. I say we talk about the playoffs. Obviously, we're going to give playoff predictions next week. We'll talk about that a whole lot more. We'll go a lot more in depth. Now, I do want to talk about a few other things before we kind of wrap things up here. And that, obviously, one of the first things I want to discuss is, of course, the transfer portal. And Tennessee did lose quite a few of our key playmakers of the future in the portal. Specifically, one of them, of course, being Chaz Nimrod. We ended up losing him to the transfer portal yesterday, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So,
honestly, I don't think it's that big of a loss. I think we can survive without him. I mean, like, the dude had like 1 million drops this year. It feels like.
Yeah,
I mean,
he definitely didn't play his best.
Yeah. Mike Matthews is going to replace him anyway.
Yeah. Obviously, I wish him the best wherever he goes. But, you know, I think we'll be all right. But, yeah, he goes. Linebacker Jalen Smith, of course, is off to the portal as well. Big-time loss for Tennessee, it feels like. But I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, these are guys who barely got any sort of playing time at all. So to see them hit the portal where they're at is no significant surprise at all.
Yeah, thankfully we haven't lost any like big pieces. The biggest pieces I guess we lost so far is Chaz Nimrod, but I think we can live without him.
And since we're in the playoffs, I doubt we'll lose any of those key pieces up until we lose or whatever happens once we finish the rest of our season.
Yeah, and hopefully we can gain some of those big names out of the portal. Some big names I've heard is that Singleton guy from Georgia Tech, and then of course that one wide receiver from Louisville. I can't remember his name.
Who?
There was a wide receiver from Louisville who entered the transfer portal. I can't remember his name, and there's also Cam Coleman entered the transfer portal.
Yeah, that's a big loss for Auburn.
I was about to say, I thought Cam Coleman was a troll. Is that not a troll? I thought that was a troll account.
Wait, it was?
Yeah, I think so.
Did Lucas fall for a troll?
Yeah, I think Lucas fell for a troll because I think it was a.
Uh-oh.
I'm pretty sure it's a troll account.
We need our fact checkers on this one.
I could have swore it's a troll.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's a troll.
Dadgummit, Lucas. How you gonna fall for that one?
I mean, to be fair, I mean it ain't really my fault. It was another Tennessee fan who actually tweeted it out.
You didn't just fall for a troll. You fell for a Florida troll. This guy's a Gator fan. What's wrong with you?
Bruh, it ain't even really my fault.
Unbelievable. This is betrayal.
Lucas
like
trying to get us to spread misinfo on the podcast.
Yeah.
This is misinformation, Lucas. This is... What have you done? What have you done?
Nico Iamaleava entering the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
I would cry if that would happen.
I mean, his name is Iamaleava.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep, pretty much. Okay, then. Well, obviously, I feel like we've all we got to talk about the basketball team because they just wrapped up their game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, they're 9-0. But hey, you want to know the 9 worst teams in college basketball according to Kentucky fans?
Name them.
All right, let me tell you the 9 worst teams in college basketball in no particular order: Gardner-Webb, Louisville, Montana, Austin Peay, Virginia, Baylor, UT Martin, Syracuse, and now Miami. Those are the 9 worst teams in college basketball right there. And then come Saturday, next week or something like that, when we play Illinois, they're about to be the 10th worst team in college basketball.
Yep. And we'll never win a game again. Don't forget that.
Yep.
And it's funny that you mentioned that because I just saw a comment saying beat a real team from, you guessed it, a Kentucky fan.
Of course.
They're hurting our little feelings. Ooh.
Type.
Yeah, it hurts.
It hurts feelings.
Yeah, it hurts their soul seeing that one besides Tennessee's name.
Also, another one that entered the portal. I don't know if y'all mentioned it. Williams and Winery.
Oh yeah, I saw that. And I'm pretty sure last time he was actually close to getting him, but then he went to Missouri. So who knows?
Well, you know why he went to Missouri, right?
Yeah, money.
Yeah, well, that. But the thing is, in Missouri, you can only get money in high school if you sign with an in-state school.
Ooh, is that right?
Which is why Missouri State moved up to the FBS because they thought they're going to try to take advantage of that law to get some higher rank recruits for the Group of 5. And that's why Mizzou's recruiting is doing so well in state because teams from outside the state aren't allowed to start paying people in high school, even if it's legal in their state. Like, say, if, like, USC wanted to offer him, like, it wouldn't work because he'd be going to school in Missouri or whatever. And that would violate Missouri state law, even though it wouldn't violate their state law. And you know where USC or UCLA is.
Yep, sounds about right.
But,
so, yeah, that's the only reason he went to Missouri, just to get that money and then dip.
What are they? It kind of sounds like a lot of people, if we're all being honest.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of people now, but I would like to have them, but I mean, I think we're pretty good on the defensive line. I don't really know where we'd put them at. I mean, we are probably going to miss 2 of our edge rushers. I don't know if he plays edge or anything like that. I don't know where he played at. I know he played on the D line, but I don't know if he played edge or a little bit more on the side.
I know we're losing after the season. We're losing Omari Thomas and James Pierce Jr. Unless Omari Thomas somehow finds a way to return for his 20th season.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening. I think he's declaring. Cody Hankins, who should SMU or why should SMU get in the playoff? Who have they playing? Well, first off, it's who have they played, and secondly, they haven't played much of anybody. But they also didn't lose 3 games, two of which were against opponents without winning records.
Also, both of their losses, one was in the conference championship. To as much as you can say Clemson's not that good of a team. Clemson, they've won like 10 or 11 games, and then BYU, who's won 10 games.
Yeah, those are both quality losses.
As Alabama fans would say, quality losses. I think he's trolling, but
Hudson Dean, yeah, they love the 0 Final Fours cope. Oh yeah, that's their favorite material right there. When everything else fails, they go to the past. They take a trip in the time machine.
And then
if we take a trip to the mines.
And then if we make the Final Four this year, you know what it's going to be after that. Well, you haven't been to a national championship. And then if we get to the national championship, well, you haven't won it yet.
And then if we win it, it's going to be you still don't have this many natties, you still don't have this many Final Fours, and all. Yeah.
My honest response goes something a little like this.
Pick up your shovel and get back to the coal mines, baby. Go Big Orange.
Something like that. All right. Brad Van Buren coming in with some facts here. Ohio State sucks. Can't disagree with that statement.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on, Amada? Good to see you in here. Who do y'all got in the national championship if Tennessee doesn't make it? Probably Oregon. It just depends on where we lose. If we lose before we get to Oregon, I'll still pick Oregon. If we lose when we get to Oregon, I'll pick Oregon. Now, if we beat Oregon, then we'll have to reconsider. But
if we beat Oregon, I don't care. I'm picking us to win it all.
If we beat Oregon, I think we're a team. I hate to say it. I think we're the team that's getting. If we beat Oregon, that means we got hot at the right time, and I think we can beat anyone.
We can beat anyone.
That's all anyway. I mean, I think we can beat them anyway. But I'm saying I think that especially if we beat Oregon and in their undefeated streak, I think we got a lot harder than what people expect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hudson Dean, this team is good enough to go to the Final Four. I do agree with that. Now, I don't know if you're talking about the football team or the basketball team, but both statements are true nonetheless.
Yeah. And also, speaking of which, how about the women's basketball team? They're back into the top 25.
They're shredding, too. They're undefeated, right?
Yep, they're undefeated. Tennessee, I'm pretty sure, is the only – are they the only team who's undefeated in both men's and women's basketball?
Yeah. I think there's like 2 other schools, I think.
But the list is thinning very quick.
Oh, wait, no. I think that was the schools that are like I think that was schools that were like undefeated in or top 25 in both the in the college football playoff and in the top 25 of basketball, which was like Clemson, Kentucky, Tennessee, or something. Yeah. I don't know about women's. I'd have to check.
I think Tennessee is the only school that's undefeated in both men's and women's basketball right now.
How about
You want to hear a crazy fact? Since we beat FSU in that walk-off, can you guess how many games the University of Tennessee has lost?
Just 2?
Yep, we've lost 2 games, which was both the football teams to Arkansas and to Georgia. That's it. Mm-hmm. Both the way games also.
How come Arkansas can beat us in the sport that we act? It's funny. Arkansas fans really, really love baseball, but they beat us more in football than they do in baseball. That's weird. Cody, when was the last time Oregon played Tennessee? That would be we had a head-to-head in 2010 and 2013, and we got blown out both times.
Yeah, that was the last time we played Oregon. And I remember I was just going to say, I remember that 2013 Oregon game where they was blowing us out and they was chanting, we want Bama.
Yeah, that was let's see. I think that y'all said it's 2010, 2013. They blew us out both times, but I also think that was when Oregon first started to get good, wasn't it? Like right after that, because that was when Chip Kelly took over around that same time.
Yeah, something
like that. But also Oregon was good in 2007 until their QB got injured.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying they started to get good around that time. But that's whenever I think Phil Knight started to pump more money into it around like 2007 ish.
What he said. Um,
Man, the
let's
only
see.
game we were able to predict this week is Army versus Navy, unless
Mighty
there's bowl games.
Mighty Cowhunger 619 is debunking what Julio just said. Since the FSU walk-off in baseball, that can't be true since we lost a game in the A&M World Series, so it should be 3 games.
Oh
yeah,
yeah, sorry, 3. Oh yeah, I forgot. Well, no, it'd be the one in the A&M. Sorry, 3 games.
Great. So you're just like Lucas now,
Oh,
out here spreading misinformation on my show.
yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, misinformation. I forgot to count the one
Yeah.
baseball loss.
That might be a cue to call it a night.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm rusty.
It's all right. It's all right. We gotta call it short anyway. There really isn't much else to talk about. You guys got anything else you want to drop before we call it?
Okay, I guess I'll just say I think Army's gonna win the Army Navy game because that's like the only game we can predict.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
And go Vols and hopefully beat Ohio State. I guess that's everything I'm gonna say.
All right, Lucas.
Yeah, I guess go Army, beat Navy, and of course go Vols.
Yeah, that's right. Well, next week, guys, I should be quite a bit more prepared for this show since I will not have college football chaos kind of keeping me back in out of this show. Obviously, it's kind of been really difficult to manage everything at once. I finished all of my finals for school, so I don't have that to worry about. So next week's going to be a big time show. It's going to be a big one. It's going to have a lot of stuff. We're probably going to go way over overtime. So it's going to be an hour and a half show probably. We're going to talk about all the playoff games, give our honest thoughts, and then, of course, give an in-depth analysis to what exactly is going to happen in Columbus. So you don't want to miss it. And, of course, I will see you guys then. As always, you already know, power to Tardaria, go Vols, go Big Orange, too. And if you haven't seen the latest episode of College Football Chaos and you are if you are, of course, a member of the Squidtard channel, would highly recommend checking that out if you can. All right, well, I'll see you guys later. As always, power to Tardaria. Once again, go Vols. And, of course, I just want to remind you that Ohio State has a 4-game losing streak to Michigan.